underway. You're on Straight Talk with the formulator of the Zika International Products, Mr. Russ Bianchi. And let's take one last round of introductions. Go ahead. Okay, sounds like we have a full house tonight once again. So let's get this call underway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Moses, independent distributor with Zika International, speaking to you from my own office here in Toronto, Canada. And as always, it's a pleasure to do this particular call, each and every Wednesday, and it is a call designed to share with many of the new people who have come on board with Zika International the benefits of our products and the miracle of moringa, the ingredient or the base of all of our product line. And of course, it is the Zika International products that is the foundation of the business opportunity, which has really made Zika International, I would say, amongst, if not the fastest growing company in direct sales today worldwide. It's a big statement, yes, I understand, but there's a lot going on in this company, and this call is no exception, as you can hear from all the people joining us. We do have our formulator on the line tonight, Russ Bianchi. Russ is going to share with you this evening to all of our guests, and of course some of our new distributors who have recently joined us, the basis of the Zika International product. So it's a great call to get acclimated to the Zika products. I think it's appropriate, though, that we create some context for this call, particularly for new people who have joined us, and I'm going to do that in the next couple of minutes and give you a quick snapshot of our company. This company, Zika, was born as a direct result of a one-hour documentary that aired on the Discovery Channel a few years ago. This documentary featured Moringa oleifera, a tree that grows in certain parts of the world, or a botanical if you wish, that has some very unique properties. One of them is the fact that it is the most nutrient-complete, nutrient-dense botanical on the planet, having everything the human body requires to maintain high-level wellness and vitality, literally everything that the human body requires to sustain life. And this is why the Discovery Channel did the documentary. It is why the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, wrote an article on moringa, March 21st, 2008, talking about all of the benefits and what moringa could bring to the world. Well, that documentary was recorded on a VHS video and landed in the hands of the founder of this company, Mr. Ken Brailsford. When Ken saw the content of that documentary, he had a vision to bring benefits to the world, and Zika International, this company, was born. Well, since the launch of Zika International, tens of thousands, and I might even say as much as hundreds of thousands of people, have experienced life-changing, life-enhancing, life-transforming benefits. Everything from great nutrition to weight loss and many other benefits. And that has, of course, spawned the fastest-growing company in direct sales, creating unbelievable prosperity. Now, as we all know, one of the first things that had to happen for all of this to come about, and that includes this conference call with the hundreds of people on the line tonight, is we had to formulate products that were efficacious, that would speak to people, that would be cost-effective, that would be compliant, that would taste good, and so forth. And that task was given to the formulator, Mr. Russ Bianchi. Russ, always a pleasure, sir, I'll be coming out to your neck of the woods on Monday to Livermore, California to do a presentation. But in the meantime, maybe you could share with all of the people online this evening a little bit of your background, what you do, and why Moringa.
Thank you, David, and good evening to everybody. Yeah, I did hear about you coming to Livermore. Actually, a scientist friend of mine at Lawrence Livermore Berkeley Lab will be attending your meeting, David, so that's pretty exciting for geeks like us. My name is Russ Bianchi. I run a company called Adept Solutions Incorporated. We are a product development firm out of the Monterey Bay Area, and we create, convert, and stabilize in pharmaceutical and drug development, food and beverage, skincare and cosmetics, flavor chemistry and stabilization, chocolate and confectionery, functional and dietary supplementation. Perhaps if you've ever consumed or seen an energy bar in North America or the world for that matter, the vast majority of successful brands we either created or had something to do with at some point in their gestation, taking billions of dollars away, literally in market share away from traditional categories like breakfast cereals, fat-laden granola bars, candy bars. We did not come to this project lightly. As a matter of fact, we turned it down. We only did it for two reasons. We were asked a simple question. If this tree, this moringa that we had never heard of, was even half as good as it was being purported, why in the world wasn't anybody using it? And secondly, if someone was using it, could we find out who? We agreed to do that, but we really didn't want to go beyond that. We were then asked the question, what would it take for us to be involved? And we were really dismissive of the whole question. But what caught our eye was a study at a World Health Organization where as little as 400 milligrams of the correct moringa was seriously addressing fitness issues and bringing children to wellness. Now, we're nobody's doctor here tonight, and we don't purport to diagnose, treat, prevent, cure, mitigate, or prescribe. But when you give the body real nutrition that hasn't been in the food or beverage chain throughout the world now for probably 4.5 decades, things improve. You can find us out at russbianchi.com by watching a 19-minute video there called What's Wrong with What We Eat. The bottom line is we didn't want to do it, and we signed up for one reason. The owner, Ken Brailsford, he promised that if we were to get to an efficacious product, it would be maintained. Quality assurance, quality control, good manufacturing practices, HACCP safety standards, actual production, raw material acquisition through literally finished brands. Not only did he promise that, he exceeded that. And for those of you coming to the Zija 2013 Summit, second weekend of October in Salt Lake City, I highly encourage you to sign up. You'll get to see the actual state-of-the-art pharmaceutical plant that is producing all of these products for yourself. This is a totally vertically integrated company. We failed 143 times, David, before we got there with the correct varietal of all the constituent parts of moringa that no one else on the planet has. So if someone says, oh, I can go get moringa on the internet or health food store, it's not true. They're buying grass cuttings in comparison to the nutrient density available only from Zija International products.
Well, I can tell you, I don't look at all those tries to come up with the formulations we have as failures. Those were just all the ways that obviously didn't work, so that we came up with the correct formula, which of course, as you know, Russ, has now taken the world by storm. 30 countries, expanding. Our CEO just got on a plane this morning heading back to Thailand. He was there 2 weeks ago, and he's back there again 2 weeks later to do presentations. Last time he went, there were 500 people at the opening presentation. They're expecting 700 this time round, and I think that tells much of the story. We have a big presentation here in Toronto this Saturday, and then I'm going on a 4-city tour starting on Monday, and that's just the beginning of what's going on. But let's talk about moringa specifically, because Zija International is the moringa company. We're first to market. We've got everything from the farm to the manufacturing to the end product. What about moringa is it that so unique and special as it relates to nutrition, and why can this replace all the supplementations that people have been accustomed to over the last decade or two?
Great question, David. It is indeed the most nutrient-dense botanical varietal that only Beach International has, and it's delivering far more than what is required. It hasn't been in food, beverage, or supplementation, David, for 4.5 decades. All your vitamins and minerals, real absorbable omega-3, 6, and 9 at efficacious, naturally occurring levels in the moringa, the leaf puree, the fruit puree, the seed cake, the cellulose, the fiber, the oil in our Gen M line, unaltered as nature intended, amino acid sequence with all of the amino acids, 9 essential, David, dozens of productive antioxidants and anti-carcinogens and kinase inhibitors, 3 dozen different anti-inflammatories in this one plant alone. It's a powerhouse, David. It's been around for thousands of years. We've known about it. In Exodus, one of your relatives, Moses, uses it to purify water in Mahara in Exodus. We've known about it for a long time, but nobody really used it because in nature, to protect itself from its nutrient density, it's really bad and tasting and smelling. So we had to overcome that without harming the intrinsic nutrient value in it, and Zeta is the only company on the planet to do that.
Well, you just created 3 specific product divisions, and yes, there will be, I guess, some new announcements at the convention coming up in October, and the 3 divisions deal with weight management or weight loss with our weight loss division, our peak performance division for people that are athletic and people on the go, that dealing with energy, and of course our Gen M skincare line for our personal care division. Why don't we focus in today on peak performance? That particular division has got a lot of traction, a lot of people having great success, and maybe we can talk about what's in that product configuration, but also the energy market in general, and how this can be, an alternative to the unhealthy products that are available in stores and on the counter.
That's a great question, David. We did a lot of the energy bars, as we purported to you, that have a real kinesiological sports energy, sustained blood glucose, no hypoglycemic drop-off or sugar crash. But in the sports drink categories, the bodybuilder categories and like, I just got off the phone not long ago with a guy who thought they knew more about sports kinesiology than us, trying to argue, well, how much of this is in moringa, how much of this is in Zika, how much of this is in the various products, trying to compare it against enzymatically dead, acidified, concentrated, chemically altered, genetically modified, and carcinogenic components and other things. I said, you know what? You want to compare your skateboard to our Ferrari, you go right ahead. The bottom line is results. Never confuse activity with results. Literally, Olympic gold, silver, and bronze medals have been won on these products, David. World championships in professional sports, championships in collegiate and Olympic. There's no arguing what this does. Now, what's the problem? The problem is all of these sports drinks, or so-called energy and power things, are full of lethal levels of anhydrous synthetic chemical caffeine that'll stop your heart. Combine that with blood pressure like alcohol. It's a meet-your-baker cocktail. The bartenders won't even blend them anymore. They don't want the liability. Taurine and guarana, which are known to cause birth defects and cancer. Carcinogenic sweeteners and colorants, acidulants, preservative stabilizers. B6 and 12 vitamins rendered from the intestines of pigs and slaughterhouses before the rest is macerated for cheap canned pet food. These things don't deliver any energy or real performance, endurance, and results. XM Plus from Zeta, XM3 do that. This is not arguable. This is irrefutable. This is not a traditional debate, David. The results are there, and there's a 100% money-back guarantee, and up to 90% for one full year. You can't name another product, brand, or service on this planet in any distribution model that will give you that kind of guarantee that's only available at Sage International. There's no risk. But beyond that, peak performance. What are we doing here? We're delivering nutrient values that you can't get in food or beverage or supplementation, aren't enzymatically alive, aren't absorbable, and are chemistry cocktails elsewhere that are all naturally occurring in moringa. We're delivering real moringa-based plant protein. Now, moringa is the most nutrient protein-dense plant on the planet, more than double that of soy, which is genetically modified and proven to be cancer-causing. I just posted 3 new articles, 3 brand new studies demonstrating the carcinogenity of genetically modified ingredients like soy, corn, peanuts, and wheat. In the last few days at BrussBianchi.com on the blog. So in Prime 90, our meal replacement, both in vanilla and chocolate, are we delivering the correct amount of fully absorbable protein from moringa? The answer is yes. And the results don't lie. I mean, we literally have people breaking powerlifting world records. Luke Curry workout. Go to YouTube tonight. You can see it for yourself. Results don't lie. So what are we delivering at peak performance? We're delivering results. That's the bottom line with the sport strengths, with the components of the peak performance system, and the bottom line is there's nothing on this planet, David, that can even get near it.
Well, it has certainly advanced everybody's business, both from a prosperity standpoint, but as a direct result of what people have experienced as we gather more customers, more consumers, and more people telling others of the benefits they're receiving. And I think there's a book on it by Dr. Howard Fisher called Peak Performance, and it's all about this particular
at the moringabook.com in Pursuit of Perfection. You're absolutely correct.
Oh, In Pursuit of Perfection.
Yes, at moringabook.com. You're correct.
Excellent. Well, the other product division, which has been life-changing, certainly, there's 180,000 people in Zika today, growing by roughly 10,000 people a month, and that may look like a big number, but I can see those numbers because I look in the back office in my organization and see these numbers growing, but it's not even, we haven't even got started yet when you look at, the potential just in North America, let alone the rest of the world. But so much of that is a result of weight management, weight loss, which is a horrendous problem in North America, as we all know. And we've all probably had a challenge with it. I certainly have, up and down. First of all, what is the issue with weight? And then let's talk about how our system addresses that, because there's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sustained life-changing stories.
David, you're absolutely correct. 1 out of 3 North Americans have a blood glucose issue now, versus maybe 1 out of 60 in the mid-1960s that was mostly glandular. Today, 7 out of 10 have a serious weight problem or a morbid weight problem. That's how bad it's gotten. 1 out of 3 kids today in North America is uninsurable for life insurance by their 18th birthday right now, because they're both morbidly overweight with serious and medication-dependent blood glucose issues. Now, we're nobody's doctor here again. I remind everyone, we're not diagnosing, treating, preventing, curing, mitigating, or prescribing, but we are delivering nutrients that restore function, and if function is restored, wellness results. And the bottom line is diets haven't worked for 4.5 decades, David. The Kumbaya weigh-in sessions, the phony new and improved point scales, the so-called comparison science that doesn't exist of indexes that are made up out of thin air at criminal laboratories, trying to retread failed diets, celebrities on TV, meals showing up at your house where the cardboard packaging tastes better than the food. The bottom line is the only way to get the body in balance is to actually give it fuel that works. So what are we doing? We're giving it a base fuel of real nutrients, plant-based, unaltered, that does that from the most nutrient-dense varietal moringa only available from Zicha. We then give you either a morning or afternoon capsule depending on your needs that trigger leptin in the brain. They satiate you, and you're no longer going to overeat, and the result is you'll burn body fat instead. There's a problem with that. When you burn body fat or adipose tissue, you release toxins stored in there, that fat, and that overwhelms your renal tract, your liver, your intestines, and if you plateau, you'll stop losing weight. Then we give you a premium tea, which is actually a Ken Brailsford-based formula that we added moringa to. And the result is it is a combination of those three things in a simple system that will allow anyone that uses it correctly to lose all the weight they want, not temporarily, David, but on a permanent basis. You might happen to know someone who would like to lose some weight permanently at little or no cost. And Zicha International is the only place that can answer that at low or no cost. There's even a way to get these things for free through something you can talk to the people that brought you to this phone call about called Team 250. So is this fundamentally different in a direct referral model at the lowest possible distribution cost to a consumer or user, which is free? The answer is yes.
Well, and of course, we see many of the results not on an ongoing basis. I think what's most exciting about our weight management system is not the fact that people have lost collectively thousands of pounds, probably tens of thousands, but the fact that people have kept it off because it's really not a diet. It's more of a lifestyle change and changing of the nutrition that we're putting into our body, and that's a great way to lose and maintain weight loss. Russ, I just want to deviate to another area. We understand, okay, we are the moringa company. We're completely vertically integrated from the farm to the manufacturing to the finished product. There's a lot of people on this line tonight that want to make sure that they're getting involved with a company that's got efficacious products, long-term products that will sustain a customer base, whether people do the business or not. Because we know for a fact that when we can sustain customers, when people continue to use products because of the value of the product, then we actually have a foundation for a long-term business, a generational business. Where do you see us going with the products that we have, with the future of what moringa can bring to the marketplace in terms of additional products for people to build a long-term enterprise here, one that could be generational, passed on to our children and our grandchildren?
David, I deal in multinational brands and have for 3.5 decades, multi-billion-dollar brands. I laughed the other day when a friend of mine in Buenos Aires sent me a large soda pop company that is changing their can from red to green and trying to co-opt somehow the word life in their slogan down there and say that somehow soda pop full of phosphoric acid, carbolic acid, hydrochloric acid, carcinogenic, caramel coloring, etc. is somehow good for you, other than perhaps killing you. So sincerity is the sincerest form of flattery. We even have, mega multinationals realizing that we are the cat's meow and we are delivering what no one else has. The bottom line here is this, David. As I said before, never confuse activity with results. Usually is delivering results. Is this a multi-billion-dollar, double-digit multi-billion-dollar company within a decade, in my opinion? I've been around a lot in over 150 countries in the world. In 3.5 decades, yes. We have a founder. This is his third time at the rodeo, not the first, and he's built 2 multi-billion-dollar companies on a cumulative basis in the 70s and 80s, and this is his third time, and he directly said, Ken Brailsford, that he can do more with moringa than he could do do with multiple hundreds of component products combined as other two companies? Yes. Do you have my personal assurance that I'm out there supporting the field on a daily basis, 365, along with Dr. Joshua Plant and a huge team at corporate? Yes, you do. Do you have my personal assurance and that of Dr. Joshua Plant that we have not even scratched at the surface in terms of a family of brands still to come, all moringa-based? Yes, you do. And I strongly advise everyone, if you are not planning to be at stageevents.com, to be at the summit on the second weekend of October, because you're going to see a life-changing view of what a real product with real results does really for you physically and financially.
Well, on that note, Russ, I was doing a calculation yesterday since I joined Zija, and the last couple of years, of course, have seen incredible growth, and the collective purchases of our product over the last several years has now just, not quite, but very close to reach $500 million when you add up all the years and all the purchases. And here's the great news, is that at the current trajectory of growth of the company, it is likely that within 36 months, 48 months on the outside, we will in fact hit $1 billion in a single year. And that's an exciting,
not surprising to me at all, David. This isn't a linear growth model like I grew up with in traditional retail and other distribution models. It's a multiple compounding or geometric progression. I'm very excited about it because not only is it exciting from a reward standpoint for folks, but we're actually getting people to get well once and for all on a permanent basis, and that's a very rewarding thing.
Well, it's exciting, obviously, for many of the distributors because not quite half, but pretty close to half of that is commission. So there's a lot of people doing well. I'm actually going on what we're calling the Momentum Tour starting on Monday. I just posted the cities, Livermore, California, Austin, Texas, North Carolina, as well as Detroit, on Facebook for people that are looking for the locations and the start times of those events. So I'll be touring, and that's after leaving Toronto this Saturday. This Saturday we've got Fred Holmes flying in from Southern California. He's one of Zija's most effective trainers, particularly for new people getting started. So he'll be here in
Toronto, not at Fred's event. You're not in the business. Fred's a great trainer.
Yeah, and so a lot of people looking forward to that. Russ, I guess, it's always a good time for gratitude, never a bad time. Maybe we can just say thank you for all that you do from around the world. We've got many, many countries on the line tonight. And one of the ways in which we can do that is by giving Uncle Russ here a round of applause by giving him a double star 6. Go ahead, everybody. You can hear a lot of tones in the background, Russ. So I think you got the message there. Thanks for all that you do. Look forward to seeing you in the very near future. Lots going on, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you for joining us this evening. If you're new on the call tonight, if this is your first time on this call, and you have some questions, and I'm sure that you do if you're a guest, what I want you to do, what I invite you to do, is to get back to the person who invited you, get your questions answered. They will surely provide you with the information that you require. We're here to help you every step of the way in building your business. The company has put the most aggressive incentive program in place designed specifically for brand new people and only brand new people, such that a brand new person can create immediate profitability should they choose to start in the business. I mean right away, very quickly, your first week in business, you can not only pay for your product, but earn a great paycheck by doing minimal activity. The person who invited you will share with you how that X Factor program works and how to capitalize on that program. By all means, come on board. We will be here to help you every step of the way to achieve whatever your dreams, goals, and aspirations are. Thank you, everybody, and I wish everybody continued success. There will be a business presentation tomorrow evening on this same number at this same time. Thank you, everybody. The lines are open.